Good evening, fellow happiness seekers. I'm going to start with an apology because I realized for the past 4 episodes I've been answering kind of the wrong question. I've been laying down this big prelude on how to be happy alone, but the people who are asking how should I be happy on my own clearly find it a challenge. And I've been talking about how nature sets us up to fool us and trick us into thinking that we've got to be with someone. So really, as I said at kind of episode 1 of this particular series, if you arbitrarily generalize that people form one of 10 parts of the spectrum, and clearly it's going to be greater than that. There'll be 10% who are happy on their own. They're the ultimate introverts, and 10% who probably shouldn't be with anybody simply because they are not fitted personality-wise for a romantic relationship on a one-to-one basis. They, by nature, are, I think the word is polyamorous. They're promiscuous. They can't settle down. There's another section of the population that are not very good at committing to a relationship for whatever reason. It could be nature, it could be nurture. So, if we're going to go in 10%, that's 30% out of it. But really, the kind of person who's asking, how am I supposed to be happy on my own? They, again, and it's not going to be any consolation to them, but there will be maybe 10 or 20% of people who are like that, who I assume would fit into the extrovert category of people who have to be with other people in order to thrive, in order to gain energy. And for them, maybe there is not a really easy answer, and it does come down to trying to condition yourself to the fact that you haven't, I don't know, there could be a lot of reasons why you're on your own in the first place, and really that it needs to be addressed first. If you have been in a relationship and you have had your, I'm going to use the expression, had your heart broken, you've been disappointed. Let's scale back the amount of emotion in that phrase. So you've been disappointed, and now you find yourself possibly faced with a future where you're going to be on your own, and in your mind it's going to be forever, for the rest of your life. The question is, 1, is that true? 2, why, if you had a previous relationship, did that come to an end? And what are you prepared to do and able to do to prevent that happening in a future relationship? But 3, if you've never been in a relationship, is it possible that there are reasons why? And what are they? And what can you do about them? So, that again is not answering the question of how to be happy on your own. And I think, though, that in order to get to how to be happy on your own, and I'm not saying I've got an answer for this, I will put out some possible solutions, and it will be for you to decide whether or not any of them fit your circumstances. But until you can arrive at some sort of dispassionate kind of clinical objective idea of why it is that you are at this point in your life, then if you have taken some paths before which led you to this, what is going to stop you taking those paths again? You'll notice I'm not saying made mistakes, because you didn't. Maybe they were mistakes, maybe they weren't, maybe they were just circumstances at the time, maybe a lot of things. which I could waffle on about, but time's racing by. So the first thing to do, really, if you are in that position, is to get a good old pen and paper and like journal writing. And if it takes a few days, then that's how long it's going to take. If it takes months, that's how long it takes. But you need to start itemizing what was good, what was bad, various actions without laying blame. Blame does not solve anything, and you're trying to solve a problem that you have. You're trying to come to a reason why. So you need to approach this like a scientist. You need to eliminate what is irrelevant and what is not impossible to be a factor, and just list the factors that were important. If, for example, your expectations of each other were too high and you were expecting happily ever after, and you were not able to deliver and your partner was not able to deliver, that should go down on your list. And if it was that you expected that you would have been in a position in your career by now, which was, for whatever reason, not the case. You didn't get the promotions or whatever, and that made you bitter. You need to write that down. But if it was simply down to your whole happiness hinged upon reaching those promotions, then it wasn't something that your partner was involved with, possibly. Maybe if they sabotage you from reaching that position, then that would be a factor, and you would need to write down, I need to find a partner who's supportive, who is not jealous. And it could be the other way around. Perhaps your partner wanted to take 2 years off to write a novel, and you said, no way. You have to own up to the contributions that you made without beating up on yourself. As I said, it's important to be totally clinical about this. Totally and utterly clinical, because otherwise you won't get to where you want to go. So that's the first step. And like I said, if it takes weeks, if it takes months, so be it. But you need to arrive at a clear picture of what was wrong. And to use the metaphor, what stopped the garden from blooming? What went into the soil? Was there enough rain? Was there too much rain? Was it the wrong kind of soil for that kind of plant? Some plants need alkaline soil, some need acid soil, some need neutral soil, some need sandy soil, some need clay soil. All these things are very, very important. So you need to examine, what was the environment? Was there, for you, too much involvement with the other person's family, and vice versa? Did you listen to each other? Did you listen carefully to what each other was saying? Were you dismissive? Did you have your own agendas all along? Was there ever an agenda? Did you have clear plans together? All these things are important. And anything I say tomorrow is not going to be important until you've got some sort of a list of what it was that went wrong. Now, if it's the fact that you're on your own and always have been, then again, what are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to any partnership which would make it worthwhile for someone to want to spend time with you? Maybe we'll explore that tomorrow. Okay, and on that notice, good night, and to your greater happiness. And if you found this useful, like, subscribe, all that other stuff. Good night.